kind of interested to see at what point it actually starts going live. But hello to the two people that are currently watching. How you doing? How's things? Oh, three. Good. Excellent. How is everybody? How's things? Hello to you people who are watching the sort of VOD, the live stream catch up. If you missed it live, hello. How you doing? How has your week been? Hello, Harry. We got our first chat of the evening. Nice. I'm looking over there because that's where Streamlabs OBS is today. I'm gonna put it back over here. I think that's more sensible. Yeah. Hi. How you doing? How's things? How's your week been? What have I been doing? Getting a TFL parking ticket. That's what I've been doing. Oh, I'm so mad about that. But yeah. Other than that, I've been what did I do? What video? Oh, I had food poisoning on Monday, and I still made a video. So that was fun. Um, and what else did I do? I did something else. Oh, I've been testing that PC, which is a pre-built from CyberPower, and the reason that it has a motherboard on top is because it's broken. um, Apparently, it left CyberPower's facility working, which I'm fairly confident it did because Windows was already set up. And when I say set up, I mean I didn't have to go through the next, sign in with a Microsoft account, next, setup menu. That was already done. So, yeah, I'm fairly happy that it left in good working order, and transit or just the passages of time has worn on it. That's an interesting one, because the reason there's a motherboard on top is that when I first tested the system, I was able to get it booted, and that was fine. And then it crashed almost immediately. It just like black screen wouldn't work, nothing at all. Tried restarting it, and then it wouldn't even post. It came up with a CPU and then a VGA error. So I tried a new graphics card. You know, VGA error displaying on your motherboard, probably a graphics card, right? So I tried that. That didn't solve it. So I tried swapping in my own B450 motherboard, an ASRock B450 Steel Legend, which, by the way, great board, highly recommended. But and that was with their CPU, their RAM, and their graphics card, and it booted into the BIOS just fine. It recognized the right CPU, the 3600X. So I emailed them and said, "Hey, look, your system's dead. Can you send me a new motherboard? Because I've already like swapped it out, and this is the board that works." Like I found that the board is the problem. So okay, fine. So they eventually get around to sending me another motherboard, and I swap it in, and it's still dead. And I tried swapping my own 3700X into their system, and that booted. So there's some weird combination of their CPU and their motherboard don't work together. My CPU and their motherboard work, and their CPU and my motherboard work. So, so they're sending me a new system, and yeah. Fun times. Also, hello F7, hello Yanazig, hello Malky, and that's it. Nice. Hi, how you doing? The guys are a bit late to join the chat tonight. They are indeed. They should get on it. Well, we got five concurrent viewers and 2 likes. That's offensive. 7 concurrent viewers and still 2 likes. That's very offensive. Hi Ish, how you doing, man? Also, Harry, I'm good, thanks. How are you? Physically, I am. Well and truly. Honestly, I should probably have some Tramadol on the desk in case I break and decide I need some, because my back's really hurting. Also, my stomach is ruined. So yeah, I'm doing great. But otherwise, I'm not too bad. I did a video, in fact, I did some research and did a video on AMD's driver problems. and it's actually kind of interesting. Literally today, I got a press email saying that their AMD's 20.2.2 driver, the most recent one, is now certified, WHQL certified, and is now a recommended as opposed to an optional driver, so like a proper full driver rather than just a hotfix. And it seems to have fixed all of the problems, like the majority of stuff. But yeah, it's quite good to see. And yeah, a full video about AMD's drivers in like a week or something, week and a half. Actually, probably less than that. I'm a little bit behind. But yeah. New hoodie design. Sort of. It's the particles design. It's just on a hoodie. Because I ordered one because I only have one new TechteamGB hoodie, and even then it's pretty old. Also, this thing is so soft. Oh, like it's so like I don't know how well that will come through, but it's incredibly soft. So yeah, I very very much like it. Very very much indeed. First tech question of the night. Oh boy. Junior Thomas. Would the B450 Steel Legend work with a Ryzen 1600 AF without a BIOS update? Yes, it will. The 1600 AF is, if I remember rightly, a 2600 underclocked. And yes, it's B450 supported second gen Ryzen out of the box. And honestly, any board that you buy now should have had a BIOS update to support third generation Ryzen. So yes, that's fine. I've had to hold off on the 5500 XT review for a month due to drivers. Interestingly, no issues whatsoever on my own 5700 XT. Yeah, so that's the thing, is that I have a 5700 XT, I have a 5600 XT. I had the 5700 and the 5700 XT on launch, and I did have a problem with the 5700 at launch, but that was because it was a pre-release card with pre-released drivers and pre-released everything, and I think I just had a faulty unit. But the 5700 XT I had no problems with, so yeah. Nabil, I bought a pre-built PC, so far so good, but when I left click on the desktop, I can't see the Intel option. Do you mean right click, or are you left-handed? Because left clicking on the desktop will do nothing unless you're clicking on something, in which case then you may or may not open the thing you're clicking on, but probably not, because it probably needs a double click. Have you been to the doctors to like do a stomach bypass or just mainline Soylent? I wish. No, so the stomach issues I have are more than just stomach. They are intestinal. I do have stomach ulcers, but it's actually they're actually duodenal stomach ulcers, which is basically the bit literally just outside your stomach. You got your sac, and then there's a sort of connector piece. There's an adapter from your stomach to your intestines, and the adapter is where I get my issues. So yeah. Hello Dan, how you doing, man? You mean right click? So one, what CPU do you have, and two, the Intel options that are there are normally in for integrated graphics. So if you don't have integrated graphics connected, or especially if you have a 9900KF, that's the right one, or 9700KF, you do not have integrated graphics, and therefore you do not need the control panel. What graphics card do you have? Oh dear. And yeah, F7. So I've had basically all of the new cards besides the 5500, which actually I kind of want to have my hands on. But yeah, I've had my hands on them all, tested them all. I've had no issues. I even tested with the driver that most people are complaining about, actually, with the 5600, and it's been fine. So yeah. Hey Ish, please. Nabil, you have an i7 9700F and the RTX 20 Super. Yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah, is you have a non-integrated graphics version. Um and yeah, thank you very much, Ish. So yeah, you don't have the integrated graphics, which means you don't have any control panel software for them, because if you don't have them, you don't need the software. Hello, emailed the company and they sent me a Windows 10 Pro key. Very nice. Handy, in fact. Yeah. In terms of the hoodie question, um, I think all of the designs that I put up, bar the stripes one, so that the particle one and the GPU one are all on hoodies as well. I'm probably going to, in fact, my partner designed some more shirts last night before. So when I get around to making those in Illustrator and then putting them up on Teespring, I will then order them. But yeah, there's some pretty cool designs there. So if I can get them on hoodies, I will. I'll definitely try, because they're pretty cool. I think they're going to be all over design ones though, so that means that they're going to be shipped from USA and more expensive than I'd like. But such is the price of art. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, I actually, one of the other videos I did this week was the 5700 XT versus 2070 Super. God, my mouth does not want to work tonight. But yeah, so the 5700 XT versus 2070 Super was actually a pretty interesting test, because I haven't looked at benchmark results for those cards in a while. Also haven't looked at pricing for those cards in a while. And Gigabyte was able to send me two of these same cards, so both their sort of WinForce edition cards. So both triple fan. Actually, they're basically identical. Besides, one's the 5700 XT and one's a 2070 Super. But yeah, it was quite cool to test that out. That video will be up shortly. So yeah, well, I say shortly. It will be up. Oh, very shortly, because that's tomorrow's video and I haven't uploaded it yet. Right. Gotcha. So yeah, that'll be up. Everyone scream about AMD drivers. What happened? I was saying I've actually done a full video on that. That will be coming out next Wednesday. So actually before next stream, that will be up. So I highly recommend you check that out. But the long and short of it is that the latest driver update 20.2.2 that AMD literally as of today, I got a press release email saying it's WXQL certified. It's a full recommended driver. That fixes most of the issues. And honestly, while there was a significant number of people reporting issues, the number of people that were reporting issues is still, in the grand scheme of things, very minuscule compared to the number of people who own those cards. And so it is of my personal opinion that it's all good. I think you'd be fine with buying AMD cards right now. And in general, I think actually, it depends on obviously the value for money proposition you're getting with each card. The 5600 XT is a little bit of a harder sell, I think, but the 5700 XT is an incredible value for money right now. So yeah. Did you ever review the 1660 75-watt version? I did not. That would actually kind of be interesting, because I have a 1050 75-watt, so non PCIe connector version. So that'd be interesting to see the comparison, but it'd be interesting to see the comparison between the two, and see the generational improvement. Obviously, it's 16 now, but and there is a 1650, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter what generation and which card means what now, because we now have two set SKUs. We still have GTX, for the lower end stuff, and then you have RTX for the higher end stuff. But the 2060 is still, kind of mid range card, so it's a weird one. Weird one indeed. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I'm waiting on a couple of monitors from AOC actually. One's a 1440p ultra wide, and one is a 1440p 140 Hz VA, I think. Which should be interesting. And Monday's video is a SteelSeries Arctis 1. What are your thoughts on PC parts going up in price due to what's going on with CV? I think we all know what that is. Should we buy now or wait it out? So I think, I don't know if you saw Linus's video on the matter. Ow. Oh, double ow. But I think that the general rule for buying tech is pretty much always buy what you want now, unless there is such a significant reason for you to wait that you wait, because if you've got a new launch that's happening in a week, okay, fine, maybe wait, see how the whatever it is that's launching turns out, and then buy. But that does postpone your purchase plan by at least a week, if not two. And that's assuming that the newer version of whatever you're planning on buying is A, better, B, worth the extra money, and C, actually in stock when you then go to buy it. Or two, obviously, if there is a say significant price hike currently. So for example, when the DRAM shortages were at an all-time high, RAM was excruciatingly expensive, and so obviously in that fashion it was generally a good idea to buy less than what you really needed, just to get you running, and then upgrade a little bit later on when the prices have dropped. I think in this specific case, I think that prices are expected to be going up across the board, basically. And so if you were planning on upgrading, if you're planning on building a new system, the argument can be made that buying today instead of buying in 6 months when the prices are back to what they were could be a good game plan. Of course, there are some new launches coming up, in theory anyway, with stuff like NVIDIA's RTX 3000 series. They're rumored to be launching actually at GDC in March, or announcing at GDC, and then being made available in June around there for around Computex, which makes sense. Sounds like an NVIDIA game plan, and obviously could alter the value for money proposition of different cards, whether that's the new ones giving a fantastic value for money, honestly unlikely, or whether that's the old cards going down in prices. Again, probably not all that likely right now. But yeah, I think the general rule is buy whatever you want now, unless there is such a significant enough reason that you should wait. I have noticed Amazon prices have gone up on some parts on my wish list. Is that a significant price rise, or is it a couple of p here and there kind of thing? Oh dear. Yeah. I think the RTX 3000 series could be pretty interesting. I think the main question I will have going into the launch is, will they do the same thing that they did for the launching the RTX series, where they gave you the same performance for the same money? Like a 2080 was as fast or faster than a 1080 Ti, but they were selling it for 1080 Ti prices. And so obviously 1080 Ti's have come down in value quite a lot. Obviously they're soon to be 3 generations old, and so that's good. But yeah, it's that would be my main question, I think. What the value for money proposition will be. £10-ish up on some NVMe drives. Is that £10 across the board, or is that £10 per product? They won't get away with that one again, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think so. I think, I hope certainly that it either stays the same or, God forbid, comes down. But it's probably unlikely to do much. £10 per product. Ah, okay, that's quite a lot then. Yeah. I suppose the question is the pricing you're currently seeing the peak or the start of the hill? That's the stock traders quandary in it. Looked at one of your Hackintosh vids earlier, as I've just done my first build in about 8 years. However, didn't look into the build specs properly for Hackintosh and got myself an RTX 2060 Super, which seems to be not compatible with Mac. Sadly not. What Radeon card would you recommend? 2060 Super, so an RX 5600 XT, probably. I think they're supported, I'm not sure. The other option is an RX 590, that's definitely supported, and I think the Vega card should be as well. I mean, if you're doing Catalina, then I believe okay, cool. 5600 XT and 5700 XT are supported because I think they are options, or they are similar versions are options in the new Mac Pro. I think Navi based anyway, I think. I don't remember. Anyway, they're supported, so yeah, 5600 XT is probably the best a direct swap out in terms of performance there. But a Ryzen 3700X and 16 gigabytes of G-Scale memory. So yeah, as long as you swap out that graphics card, you can follow my 3rd generation Ryzen Hackintosh guide, or check out the Snazzy Labs guide, which does a very good job as well. So yeah, you should look into the make of the card, because I remember there was one that didn't work on OS X. Okay. If I had to hazard a guess, it'd probably be XFX, because they seem to be the unlucky one. But my assumption is Sapphire would work just fine, because they are, I think, one of the most popular AMD AIBs. So I believe so. Any info on when B550 is coming out? So not currently. Honestly, I thought it'd be out by now, but I think that I think so-ish. I think he was. So like I said, I honestly thought the B550 would have been out already. I think the main drawback, or the main consideration, is that the reason why X570 motherboards got so ludicrously expensive was because if you want PCIe Gen 4 compatibility, you need to do a beefy PCB setups. You need I think wider traces, if I remember rightly. You certainly need to be able to deliver more power to the chipset, that's for sure. Power color, okay, sounds about right. XFX for Vega, sounds about right. But yeah, so I think the main drawback is that the reason the boards, X570 boards, are so expensive is because they had to beef them up so much, not only in the VRM department to be able to power the 16 core CPUs, but also in the powering the chipset and delivering PCIe Gen 4 support to the chipset and to the different PCIe lanes. That is a pretty significant cost, and I'm not sure that they can do that at scale enough for a £100 B550 board, and therefore you wouldn't necessarily have, there would be no reason to launch a B550 when B450 seems to work fine. I think there is the possibility that B550 isn't launching because AMD hasn't perfected the B550 chipset. AMD is now manufacturing, or I suppose having manufactured, their own chipsets, which I think, if I remember rightly, the X570 chipset is an offcut of the IO die that goes inside third gen Ryzen CPUs, if I remember rightly, or it's a very similar chip, like chip design. But yeah, so that could also be a consideration because AMD has to manufacture their own, or design and build or get built their own chipsets now, and therefore they can't just rely on other people like they did for X370. Does B450 have PCIe Gen 4? No, it does not. It's a Gen 3 compatible, but PCIe Gen 4 compatibility is currently only limited to X570 motherboards with Ryzen 3rd generation chips. You need the motherboard to be able to support Gen 4, not just the CPU. And that's something that the hypothetically, for the M.2 slots that are directly connected to the CPU, and for the top PCIe slot on your motherboard that goes to top X16 size slot that goes directly to the CPU, in theory those could run at Gen 4 on a B450 board, but it's been disabled in the BIOS for basically since launch. So yeah, will B550 get it, do you reckon? I don't see a reason for them to launch a B550 until it gets it. What's your opinion on Gen 4 SSDs? I have done a couple of videos about them. You should check them out. The long and short of it is that right now they are not much more than a extra bandwidth Gen 3 drive. So there's not really much point. I think that the other thing is that there are already so few applications that can make use of a Gen 3 SSD over even a basic SATA SSD, that for most use cases I don't think they're necessary. If you have a specific use case for them, awesome, go for it. Get one, use it, enjoy it. But I think for the majority of people, there's not really too much point in getting one right now. Perhaps when we see a sort of second generation of Gen 4 SSDs that not only hit the high speeds but hit them across the board better. So especially lower queue depths and lower thread counts to a degree. Those sorts of workloads don't really see any benefit, or a significant benefit, going with a Gen 4 drive over Gen 3. And so, yeah, meh. What SSD do you have in your main computer? That would be my desk PC, the one that I built into a desk. and that's a WD Black SN 700, which is the it is a Gen 3 drive. It's one of the slightly earlier Gen 3 drives, and is still does about 3 gig a second, reads in like 2.5 writes if I remember rightly. It's been a while since I benchmarked it, like a year and a half, so forgive me if I'm not quite right, but yeah, it's a good drive. I don't really make use of it, to be honest. It's my boot drive, which is good. You know, fast Windows loading. Not that I reboot the PC much. And yeah, I got a couple of games installed on it. It's a 1 TB drive, so I've got some room. But grand scheme of things, meh. Like Optane, but not super crazy prices and good bandwidth. Yes, pretty much. Optane would be good. They have very good IOPS performance, input output operations per second, for those of you who don't know. But yeah, it is pretty expensive, especially per capacity. What I use is a scratch drive for editing. It's either my SSHD or a spare SSD. I think it's a spare SSD. I think it's a SATA SSD. I think so. No, I don't think it's spinning Rust. Not quite. It's been a while since I've checked, so don't remember. I mean, to be honest, the only thing that ever ruins my editing experience is After Effects trying to render anything, which, to be fair, SSD might help with that, or like, you know, faster SSD might help with that. But for even like scrubbing through 4K footage, which is what I film at normally, no problems at all. With even pulling from a hard drive. So yeah, I need to fix my NAS actually, or well, not fix, but I need to rearrange my NAS. I've actually copied all of my backup footage to a spare WD Red 6 TB hard drive, because I'm running out of space on my 8 TB array, and I have 2 other 8 TB drives in the same NAS. But they're running in 2 RAID 1 arrays, and I'm thinking of what I'm going to do is I've already swapped all the data that's on the other 8 TB array to my other NAS, which is a 4 TB RAID 1. And what I'm going to do is wipe everything and rearrange it to be a RAID 5, which means I should only have 1 parity drive, and then I'll have more capacity for my money, kind of thing. And then I can copy everything back on. It's quite risky because that means that literally all of my backup data is on 1 hard drive while I format the array and then copy it back over. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's only footage. I mean, a lot of it I can't get back because they don't have the stuff, but I've generally made videos about it, so I can just cut from that. Yeah, so it's ZFS. So I think you just need to invest in a Dell PowerVault or something, probably. But I'm still holding on to the idea that I don't need to buy more hard drives yet. I think at some point I'll end up just expensing, you know, like 100 TB of hard drive. Call it a day. But that day is not today. For 1080p gaming, is the 1650 Super. Should I go with the 1650 Super or the 5500 XT? So honestly, F7 is probably your best person to ask. He's F7 GOS in the chat, which I'm putting over here. He's not currently in this portion of the chat window, so you can't see. But yeah, he is the best person to ask, because I don't remember if I've tested a 1650 Super. I think I might do. I might have, but I've not tested a 5500 XT, and so I don't have a clue. So yeah, I'm not sure, I'm afraid. Check with F7 if he's still here. or an Oracle FS1 system. Why do I get the feeling that that's a supercomputer? Oh, flash storage. Right. Ah. Yes, but I don't have that much money. um, all flash array. Yep. Yeah, that the cost is definitely the problem there. Eventually, I'll be a big enough channel to pull a Linus and get 3 petabytes of hard drive sent to me by accident. God, that guy. But yeah, and I think I'm okay with what I've got now. I have a nice collection at the moment. And yeah, eventually I'll probably build another sort of server kind of thing. Can't you just like some tax thing? Surely all companies do hanky panky with tax and stuff. Well, one, I'm technically not a company. I'm a sole trader. Shocking, I know, but I don't earn enough money to bother with a limited company. Two, I certainly don't do any hanky panky. But because there are allowable business expenses, even as a sole trader, plus the personal allowance, I don't normally pay all that much tax, so more money can go to buying hard drives. Please, can we rack mount this potential server one day? Well, when I move house and or get an office, I would have a use case for a rack mount, because then I could put storage there, I could put a server there, I could put a router, PSN's box, I could put a nice 10 gig switch, all that sort of stuff. But when I'm at my house, there's not much use for a rack mount, nor space for a rack mount. Oh dear. I like how Linus now has a spare rack mount cage and a spare 45 drives chassis. And I'm here with my living room TV stand. You can get a 4-push rack cabinet. Yes, I still don't know where I'd put it. I already used most of the floor space in this house. Not sure that I could spare anymore. Oh dear. Oh. So yeah. Ooh. What else has been happening in the world? Well, tech news anyway. I have not been paying attention. Actually, oh, did anyone see the why buy a Hackintosh video? Like, why buy a Hackintosh? Why buy a Mac Pro when you can Hackintosh video? And if so, what do you think? Do you have stairs in your house? Yes, they are an absolute mountain. They are a sheer cliff. Do you run? Can you run a Ryzen 2700X with an MSI A320 Pro E motherboard? I think technically you can, as long as the motherboard has had a BIOS update, but I definitely wouldn't. Specifically because so yeah, the problem with running a reasonably high-end processor like that and a what you call it, a very low-end motherboard like that is, realistically, that board is not designed to run that chip. I just wouldn't even going for a B350 board is going to be a significantly better experience for you than going with the A320. If you already have the motherboard, then The highest I would generally recommend you go on that before you start running into the board throttling the CPU is probably the 6 core, so the 2600 or the 1600. They can run them, but they're not great. So take that as you will. In response to the Mac Pro, yes, interesting. I have zero interest in the whole Mac ecosystem. But yeah, if I was into Mac, it would be a hack. I agree. I think the main thing for me is that as enthusiasts, we look at the what you call it, the Mac Pro, and we look at that from a perspective of what a horrible value for money. Like, jeez, man. But as a business who rely on those sorts of machines, yeah, what, like, as Dan says, I would buy a Mac Pro if I could expense it. I think that's the very, very key factor, is that it's a business expense. Like, sure, would they like to save more money? You know, if they're buying 100 of them, would they like to save 40 grand a piece? Definitely. But is buying a Mac to upgrade their existing Mac ecosystem, user base, is that a sound investment for them? Well, yes, because if they decided to swap to Windows or Linux, you would have to retrain all your staff, and that's potentially months of downtime or reduced output while they transition. And so, yeah, they would much rather, take the initial hit of the price of them in favor of productivity and extra revenue from the much faster machines than what they, I assume, currently have. Does it alienate people from going into that ecosystem? I think so. I think they're long term, they're probably doing themselves a disservice, but yeah. Just works TM is worth a lot. He's right. Thank you very much, Ish. And to the person who was asking if the virus will murder PC power prices, it certainly has the potential to. So like we were saying earlier, the general rule of thumb for buying tech is buy it now unless there is a significant enough reason to hold off. So if there's a big launch that's next week, maybe hold off. But if if it's a couple months away, or if there's a potential reason for a significant increase in price that could take months to come back down again, sure. Yeah, fair play-ish. Irie, you're not on screen anymore. But yeah, so you have a 1600, you're looking to upgrade, what would you recommend? So I appreciate that you probably have relatively limited funds, and therefore you're looking for a CPU upgrade on its own. I think if you can find even a used B350 board for, I don't know, 50 or £100, maybe even under that, you would then be able to sort of save a bit more, and then go for the 8 cores. You could even go for the the 3rd gen Ryzen 8 cores in that case, because I don't think the A320 boards have had any BIOS updates to support the 3rd gen Ryzens, and even if you went with a 3600, that's such a significant performance difference that it could very well be worth it instead. So yeah, my overall recommendation would be that. Yeah. What is an okay CPU temperature? My CPU is 67 degrees Celsius, 57 while playing heavy games like Destiny 2 or just start PC gaming. So that's actually a really good temperature. The maximum, so it's called the T junction or the TJ max, the thermal junction temperature, or the temperature at which the CPU will start throttling itself down to stop damage. And the temperatures that you normally get for that are between 100 and 110 degrees Celsius. So 60 degrees is pretty sweet. Generally speaking, 80 and above is considered hot. If it's under that, then yeah, you're doing pretty good. As Dan says, I mean, when he says mine, he means his MacBook Pro, which just works. But yeah, so his MacBook runs at 90 degrees Celsius plus constantly. And actually, basically all of the gaming laptops that are review hit 100 degrees Celsius and then thermal throttle themselves down to a happy point and sit at about 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. So yeah. And what's the highest end chip you'd recommend for an A320? So I think technically speaking, the 1700X would not be the worst chip for it. And therefore, the 2700 non-X, I would probably add, is probably not going to be the worst chip for it. With that said, I can't necessarily, wholeheartedly recommend it, but if that's the path you're set on, you will have a better chip. So yeah, a 2700 is probably the limit I would recommend. I mean, if you buy a 2700X, you're not going to be hurting it on the A320 board. You're not going to be helping it, but you're not going to be hurting it. And so it's hardly the end of the world. And if you decide to upgrade the motherboard later, cool, nice. But yeah, you have your recommendations. Thank you. I just started and built a PC with a GTX 1060 6GB and i5 4570 8GB of RAM, and I'm enjoying myself much more and won't ever return to console gaming. Nice. Welcome to the PC Master Race. It only goes downhill from here because you'll end up with a lot of them. There's literally one on my floor. But yeah, congratulations. That sounds like a very good first build. I guess you bought the parts used, right? And hello, Starman. How you doing, man? How's things? Hope you're well-ish. I mean, not really. Is the plain answer. Is the truthful answer, I suppose. But I'm getting on. Picking a scab on my finger that hurts a lot. I'm doing alright, so yeah, having fun is the more important part. How can I tell what the correct fan curve should be in the BIOS, or is it a stupid question? So what motherboard do you have? I enjoyed building the PC, and yes, I bought them used. Wanted to get a PC badly to play CS:GO, and soon Riot's new Valorant. Nice, fair. That's a pretty well, I don't know what price you paid, but I assume it's a pretty good deal. So nice. And it's certainly a decent use case. There we go. Wang Yip 3950X, X570, and RX 5700 XT is not working. What about it isn't working? It was a really good deal. Excellent. It's what we like to hear. The MSI B450 Tomahawk Max. So, MSI has a fan control feature in the BIOS. I'm gonna try and remember what it's called. bear with. um, da, 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 da. It's probably an OC, knowing them. In the OC section. You can go to easy mode actually. That might be it. Oh, is it hardware monitor? That might be it. So you can generally choose a like preset setting for those sorts of oh, my finger's bleeding. You can generally choose a preset thing. I'm gonna get some tissue for my bleeding finger. But yeah, so if you pick the either like balanced or silent, if you'd prefer silent, or like there are different fan curves that are normally pre-profiled that you can pick from. Those would be my recommendations. Otherwise, if it makes you manually set a fan curve, which I don't think it should, but if it forces you to, then it what do you call it? It should generally be a curve ramping up, so it's normally based on temperature. And the higher the temperature, the higher the fan curve. You can go straight if you want for linear, but that can be loud. If you go more of a ramped curve, then you can get a normally quieter build. Yeah. Foswas, you can if you listen to Ish, that's probably why. Wang, oh, it's your Ryzen Hackintosh that doesn't work. Right. What steps have you, so did you follow my guide or Snazzy Labs guide to getting 3rd gen Ryzen working? What bootloader are you using? Hello, the Cruiser 18 Edwards. How you doing? How's things? Oh, yeah, it's fingers bleeding more than I thought it would. Yeah. Anyone else have any tech questions? We have about 10 minutes. Yeah, like I said earlier, tomorrow's video is going to be pretty interesting. I'll see how everyone does. It's the 5700 XT versus 2070 Super video. I actually finished that this morning. Like I said, it's closer than I thought it would be. It is like remarkably closer than I thought it'd be. And also next week's video on Wednesday will be about AMD's drivers, sort of in relation to that. So make sure you check that one out as well. Hey bro, do you think of the what do you think of the CyberPower Tracer laptop you reviewed? 9th gen i7 RTX 2060 would be a good laptop for 1080p gaming in school. So honestly, I review so many laptops that I can't say I expressly remember that one. So I would check my review to see what I thought. But also the general consensus of 9th gen i7 and RTX 2060. Yes, that's a good 1080p gaming combination. That should be pretty decent for school and gaming, and generally speaking, they're pretty much the same in the grand scheme of things. They are, there are some mild differences, slightly different temperatures or noise sort of ratings, if you like, but in the grand scheme of things, they're all the same hardware. They all run pretty similarly in terms of performance. So as long as there wasn't a massive deal breaker about it, yeah, go for it. But yeah, like I said, check my video because yeah, I've reviewed so many laptops that I can't say I remember that one specifically, I'm afraid. I've actually got a new laptop from MSI coming. You actually won't see that video until the 3rd of March because it's under NDA. Well, a part of it is anyway. The actual laptop itself isn't, but a part of, or the, let's say, actually, let's not say, Andrew, you dumbass. Oh, jeez. What CPU air cooler do you recommend? I'm considering buying the Notch U12A for the 1600 AF. So that's certainly not a bad option. The other one is actually the Arctic Freezer 34 Esports Duo. I did a review of it at some point not too long ago, and it's fantastic. It's pretty easy to install. It's reasonably quiet and it's very, very good, especially at cooling those sort of mid-ish range Ryzen chips. So yeah, highly recommended. It's only £35 for a Tower dual fan CPU cooler. So yeah, the Noctua one will probably be quieter and potentially U12A. So maybe not. Well, it'll be quieter for sure. But the Arctic one isn't exactly loud either, so Um, how many laptops does Andy actually use? One sometimes, and sometimes another one, and sometimes one other one. Damn it. Unfortunately for Ish, none of them are MacBooks. Dan, on the other hand, absolutely loves MacBooks. But I am not him. No, I use one gaming laptop when I'm traveling, and then I use a very, very old laptop for car diagnostics. Which reminds me, I really need to charge that one. Oops. It's been like, I think, yeah, it's still in my boot. Oops. 10 10 out of 10 would have recommended a MacBook last week. This week, only a 9 out of 10. Really, the entire thing died. And you'd still 9 out of 10. Okay. Okay. Kinda, yeah. Have you reviewed any super cheap laptops like the one Linus did recently? Not super cheap. It's been a while since I've checked out any of the like really budget ones. The Acer Nitro one was probably the most budget. Which budget laptop did Linus check out recently? I don't remember. Was it a gaming one or is it a standard one? Like really budget? I do not remember. Wouldn't it get 8 out of 10 for just being an artwork? Oh, it was the Walmart $250 laptop. That's the one. I'd actually be very interested to check out that kind of machine. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Because Ryzen and the laptop's fantastic. Like it's very, very good. Even the APU ones still very good. So yeah, I'd definitely be interested in checking that out, or something similar anyway. If I could get my hands on one. So yeah. But no, I haven't reviewed any. And I don't currently have any plans to because I don't have any. Product looking pretty goes a long way with me. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh dear. Right, you lot have 2 minutes to ask your questions. Have you got any more? My finger's still bleeding. How? I didn't realize I had that much blood in my body. Also, of the people who are still here, are there any videos you'd be interested in seeing? Any topics that you'd like to see covered by this absolutely amazing face? Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. But yeah, is there any like topics you'd like to see covered, anything like that? Need to remember to upload that. Oops. In-depth hack into a step-by-step guide. Already did one, mate. Did two, actually. Hello. A finger injury prevention video? No chance. You like I have so many scars. Um, that one, that one, um, that one, that one. I've literally got holes in all three fingers, bar the middle one. I've got blood on that one. Yeah, just don't look at me. SSD reviews. I have a lot of them. You should check them out. Widescreen monitors. Your thoughts? Used just for gaming. They're fantastic. I absolutely love them. I don't know that I'd necessarily run one on like a main PC. Like if I was splitting it all up, or if I just gamed, yeah, definitely have one. But because I have one PC for everything, including specifically editing. They're cool, but I don't know that I would. And like work, I suppose, is the key one. I don't know whether I'd bother with that. One last thing. What laptop in general would you recommend for all round? Which brand is reliable? So I have out of all of the laptops I've ever tested, MSI are the ones that I've tested the most of, and I've had the least issues. But I've also heard a lot of issues with them. So probably the Acer Triton 500, the 2060 model. That's still probably the laptop I recommend to anyone in that sort of price category and spec category. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it a lot. So that separate PC, then it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. PS reviews. PSG reviews. I don't have the 30 grand in testing equipment, so yeah. Fair play, 7. Right. So that's probably I'll call it there. Hello, Bulldogs. Sorry, I'm disappearing. Question I have: 1350 spend on a new living room PC. Already bought the case, Fantex P600S. So that's probably a Ryzen 3600 and a 2070. Super. Or actually, honestly, RTX 5700 XT. Save yourself some money, mate. Yeah, that 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte, or splash out 2 terabyte SSD. That's all you need. Yeah. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next week. See you for videos, tomorrow and Monday and Wednesday. And yeah.